welcome everyone here for the services, Mrs. Sheri Fagan, as well as all of the folks that are viewing online. Just a gentle reminder for those of you that have a cell phone here in the chapel, please place it in the silent mode or turn it off completely. That would be appreciated. Officiating this morning is Rabbi Jeremy Fine and Chazan Hiri Chulif, both from B'nai Tikva in Deerfield.
The Jewish people respond to death with 3 words of blessing. Baruch Dayan Ha'emet. Praised be the judge of truth. Adonai Natan v'Adonai Lakach Yehi Shem Adonai Mevorach. God has given and God has taken, and through it all we continue to remember Sheri's life, her name, and her memory. Sheri was preceded in death by her parents, David and Adele, and her beloved sister, Sandee. Survived by her children, Marc and Chrisy, Jill and Dan, her grandchildren, Eliana, Arielle, Hayden, and Tilly. And of course, her husband, Scott. In the words of Ecclesiastes, the season is set for everything. A time for every experience under the heaven. A time for dancing and a time for wailing. A time for birthing and a time for dying. A time for speaking and a time for silence. A time for losing and a time for seeking. We turn to Psalms for words of comfort. As a lover of music, I call on Chazan Hiri to lead us in Psalm 23.
מזמור לדוד. אדוני רואי לא אחסר, בינו דשא ירביצני, על מי מנוחות ינהלני. נפשי ישובב ינחני, ומגלי צדק למען שמו. גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות, לא ינרא כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי. דשנת בשמן בשמן ראשי, דשנת בשמן בשמן ראשי, דשנת בשמן בשמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד כל ימי חיי ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים איי נאי איי נאי איי נאי 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 איי נאי נאי איי נאי נאי איי נאי נאי איי נאי
Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads beside me the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for art thou with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Eshet chayil miimsa v'rachok mimi michra. Batach balev bala v'shalo lo yechsar. Gemalto tov v'lo ra kol yemei chaya. What a precious find is an Eshet chayil, a woman of valor. Her worth is beyond rubies. Charm is deceitful and beauty vain, but a God-revering woman is much to be praised. Extol her for the fruit of her hand wherever people gather. Her deeds speak her praise. We are going to hear some reflections from members of the family. We're going to begin with her grandchildren, Tilly and Arielle.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. As most of you might know, I'm Bubbie's granddaughter. Bubbie and I shared a bond that has shaped me who I am today. She has taught me that no matter the challenge, a smile will make all the difference. From my earliest memories, one tradition was our daily trips to McDonald's after preschool. Bubbie orders never changed. She always got a cheeseburger and fries. But the joys of these moments together remain constant. Whether shopping or eating, our days were filled with laughter and love. More recently, Bubbie asked me to do her makeup. Bubbie told me she needed it to cover up her face, but Bubbie truly didn't know how beautiful she was, especially her blue eyes. My last conversation with her was when I FaceTimed my mom so I could say hi to Bubbie. Bubbie couldn't say much, but immediately when I picked up, she goes, "Oh, it's my favorite." Sorry, Hayden, Tilly, and Ellie, but Bubbie has spoken. Outside during her time in memory care, I was pushing her in her wheelchair. Her face lit up with pure happiness as we reminisced and shared stories of her mother, father, and sister. Now she reunites with her loved ones. I feel happy knowing she is at peace. Bubbie, I will miss your smile, your eyes, your jokes. I will miss you saying, "That's the story," after everything. I will miss you forever and always, but carry you with me in my heart every day.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I know that this makes my whole family very happy that everyone was able to be here. My name is Tilly, and Sheri is my grandma. I knew her as my Bubbie. I'm sad that she has passed away, but I'm glad to think that she is peaceful now and not in any more pain. I have so many memories of her. Here are some of them. We used to go into my mom's old room, grab these certain markers, and start drawing together. Another one is when we used to sit on the couch and she would put on amazing Barbie movies for Ari and I. I remember when Bubbie and Gava let us play the money game, and that means like we filled lots of gallons with coins. We're rich now. I remember going over to the house and spending time with them and just playing any games that we could find. The last memory I have of her that I'm going to say today is when her phone rang, it always sings the Sheri Baby song, and it's always so funny. There's so many more, but I won't say all of them. She has always made me so happy when I'm sad. You might have heard Ari talking about how she was her favorite, but I'm sorry to break it to you, I definitely am. Lastly, I just want to say that I'm going to miss her, and I want to say that she was so strong. She's in a better place now, and I want everyone to remember that. I'll miss her saying over FaceTime every Sunday, "Oh, look, we're matching with our glasses," and ending her FaceTimes with, "That's the story." I miss her so much, and I love her. Thank you.
Thank you both, Arielle and Tilly, for sharing. I'm now calling her children, Marc and Jill.
Want to come on up here?
I might not talk.
So, what can I say? I'm Sheri's son, Marc, and daughter, Jill. She used to call me Marker, but you always knew when she was really calling for me because she kind of had this sound that was, sort of like an exotic bird or something like that. Marc! So I was doing that was coming. She always looked up to her parents and really wanted to model herself after her parents in a lot of different ways, my Bubbie and Sandee, and, really talked about family first and family being together and everything like that. And, wanted Jill and I to make sure that we got along. And, she would say to me when we were kids, she'd go, "Marc, you'll regret it when you're an adult if you don't get along with your sister." I don't know. It's been okay so far. Okay, fine. You're all right. We'll keep you around. She was really anxious for us a lot, wanting to make sure that we were doing everything that we should, getting everything that we needed, really being able to do get ahead in the way that we needed to. She was very trusting as a parent, though. She didn't have very strict rules or punishments. Necessarily. Well, maybe for you.
I was the bad kid.
Yeah, it was a little bit more like that. So you would think that we'd party at the house a lot, but that didn't really happen. I was pretty lame, and we're playing poker at all hours of the night. Listening to Motley Crue or Skid Row or something like that, or I'd be playing electric guitar in the basement, and somehow we never got chastised for all the noise over there, and it must have been because of my sweet jams, my sweet licks, because I was so darn good. It must have been part of it. She also liked to eat deep dish pizza like I didn't really got, and really kind of gave me the love for that. She's a chocoholic, but really had a hard time keeping chocolate in the house. So we used to kind of have it outside of the house a lot, and, the other kids would be bringing Capri Suns and, Oreo cookies for lunch, and we would have a box of orange juice or something in there. No wonder why I wasn't throwing parties at the house, I guess. She was a really good cook too, especially on holidays, but really all the time. She introduced us to the tantalizing, wonderful taste of salmon patties. And therefore, I have not eaten seafood since. So I owe that to Mom. She always wanted to show us off. She really wanted to kind of talk about what we're doing and how we're doing. And, she never knew that I've been going through cancer treatment for the past 7 months. And, she'd be like, "This is Jill. This is my teacher in Iowa. And this is my Marc." And I don't know what she'd say. He's growing his eyebrows back. It's, it was kind of a struggle there. So I'm glad that she didn't really know much about that. The main thing you would know is she was always a big empathizer. I mean, not just big empathizer, like over empathizer, right? You know, like she, like, you know, we might say something like, yeah, I was picking the kids up from school today. Oh my gosh, that must have been so hard. I can't believe you drove all the way there, drove all the way back, and you had to be in your car, and it must have been so difficult. So it's like, just driving the kids. So, am I right? She really enjoyed connecting with her friends and playing games. You know, she enjoyed going to plays. She's incredible with games with children too. They really enjoy doing that. But when it comes to technology, not so much. You know, I remember during COVID, we were spending more time looking at the ceiling than we were looking at her face. She couldn't get the iPad to like straighten out on any of that. She's a lover of games.
Or up her nose sometimes.
Yeah, or up her nose. That was my favorite view. She's a lover of games too. You guys might remember a time where we got to play Cards Against Humanity with her. And thinking about like trying to explain anything in that game to her was definitely a treat to your own mother on there. She liked to travel, as you all know, loved to travel. Loved to travel with my dad and with others, loved to travel with us. She wasn't necessarily like the adventurous type though. You know, we got her on a zip line once, as you guys might remember, and you know, she acted like we were pushing her out of an airplane 20,000 feet up. It's a little different there. Thinking of games, you know, we thought it would be cool to get together as adults. I really loved the time when we got to be adults and be able to go out to lunch with her and kind of talk as adults, unless you get a little bit of Moscato in her. And I mean a little bit of like the sweetest, worst wine that you could possibly get. She only had a little bit. She's never took much more than that. She used to take care of our kids. When Chrisy and I were living in the city, she would come to this city and take care of them for a couple days, and really was amazing at that. And you know, clearly I'm not mature enough to take care of them myself, so I had to take a lot of lessons from her. And she took them shopping, a great shopper with them, loved to watch them, loved to be able to come there, and gave us full reports afterwards, always a full report. She was a preschool teacher, as most of you guys know, and you know, she really led by example on how to have a lot of energy. And I really truly think that like the helping profession and like the nature of that high energy really plays a big role in both Jill and my life of being a teacher yourself, and then going into the helping profession myself and doing trainings and having that kind of energy. And I really do think that a lot of that came from her, and being able to see how both she did that with our kids and did that as a preschool teacher. And so for all those reasons, I'm very proud to be her son, and we'll miss Mom a ton and continue to have many, many more memories and laughs and stories to share. So.
She was amazing. She loved us unconditionally and fiercely. She loved all of her grandchildren, and she was a best friend to everyone. She was wonderful. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you both for sharing. Every year for the Passover Seder, we sing a song towards the end that includes an ode to our matriarchs called Who Knows One. That song discusses the important things in a Jewish life: God, Judaism, parents, and the cycle of life. As I sat with the family late last night, the picture they portrayed of Sheri brought me back to this song from just one day ago. It's a preschool type song that we call back to. Who knows one? I know one. And the emphasis on parenting were the brushstrokes of Sheri's entire world, impacting generations. Born on March 27, 1949 in Chicago, Sheri went to Clinton Grammar School, Mather High School, and eventually Southern Illinois University. But when she met Scott at Southern, who was on the verge of graduating, she decided not to graduate. How could you resist? And moved back to Chicago with Scott. She did continue and finished secretarial school. She grew up in an extremely, as the family told me, close family. Her father, David, worked for Pizer Funeral Home and was one of David Jacobson's mentors. Sheri's best friend was her sister, Sandee. They offset each other well, and after Sandee passed away, the family told me that Sheri was never the same. She was a shy teenager. After Sheri and Scott got married in 1971, they lived in Skokie, and Sheri went to work for the village. The two eventually moved from Skokie to Niles, where they raised Marc and Jill, and then after 10 years in Niles, they moved to Buffalo Grove. Scott noted that because of the amount of hours he worked, it was truly Mom who raised the children. She was at every single event: Marc's swim meets, Jill's cheerleading and dance shows. And she took an active role in their friends' life, French braiding hair and doing their makeup. But around this time is when she found her true calling as a preschool teacher. She worked at Bright Beginnings Preschool when the teachers who were there, who were also Marc and Jill's teachers, asked her to become a teacher herself. Jill said she was a beloved preschool teacher. Anywhere they went, the parents raved to them about their mother. Even recently at the mall, Jill was with the children, and they got reminded of this incredible talent and skill in life their mother lived. She taught for 25 years. When she got into her 60s, she retired, and she immediately got involved in Na'amat USA, a nationwide member organization that advocates for women and families in Israel, including domestic violence prevention, scholarships, and more, where she sat on the board. She had lots of things in her life that made her happy. Played mahjong twice a week, loved music, especially Jimmy Buffett, and they went to many concerts together. Cruises with friends and family, mostly to the Caribbean, and a special one for their 45th wedding anniversary, going to the Greek islands. Another cruise with the whole family for Scott's 70th birthday, and their last vacation in Mexico, and her dancing to Michael Jackson, which was apparently Chrissy's idea for Thanksgiving. Jill mentioned that she dabbled in jewelry making, which Scott has no recollection of. Loved getting her nails done, and an avid shopper, and the family told me on many occasions last night, not only was she an avid shopper, she was the best shopper, the greatest gift giver that ever lived. She baked cookies for holidays and loved doing that with her great nephews and nieces. Dan mentioned that she passed down that tradition to her kids. Jill added that when she went off to college, she was living in the dorms, and Mom sent her mail all the time with lots of cookies and everything covered in stickers. Marc added that she loved being around her friends and always wanted to hear what was going on. When I asked the family, though, of Sheri's hobbies, almost in unison, they said her grandchildren. Chrissy mentioned that Sheri watched the grandchildren a lot. Eliana noted that she was really sweet, the sweetest human being, and always brought them something to do. Lots of crafts and preschool songs. Tilly remembers the marker box and baking for Hanukkah. Because she was a preschool teacher at heart, everything turned into arts and crafts. Hayden said he loved how his grandmother tried to always be there and FaceTime on Sunday mornings with the Iowa family. And we heard Arielle's words today, painting such a beautiful picture of her grandmother. On a personal note, as I mentioned to the family last night, this is one of the first passings of funerals that I've done at B'nai Tikva where I knew the person. She always had a glowing smile and lit up every time she saw me. It was memorable. She loved music at the synagogue, and Scott would bring her to hear when we had musical Shabbatot. And she will be deeply missed by our community. And like the Pesach songs, they're not meant just for us. but for our children, to pass down to each and every generation. And that is what Sheri's life did. It impacted the youth, her own and her students, her grandchildren, and through all of that love and nachas, Scott too. I'd like to leave the family with some words of blessings taken from Mom's life. To the grandchildren, may you always be incredibly involved in your loved ones' lives. Set a tone of togetherness and simple projects like arts and crafts to open up more bonding and love. Dan and Chrissy, be attentive, like Sheri, to the needs and desires of others. Never stop noticing those around you. Jill, may you have Mom's ability to pass on tradition. May all that you do be a reflection of love and your family. Marc, may your world come to full focus. Like your mother, find those passions and attach yourself to them. Let goodness define you. And Scott, may the sounds of love never stop. May it guide you going forward from memory and into the future. And may we all find that purpose in life to brighten someone else's day, and may we cherish every moment and every second that we have together. May Sheri's memory forever be for our blessing, and let us all say, Amen. I'm going to call on Chazan Harry to lead us in the Hebrew of El Malei Rachamim. I'll ask the community to rise for a moment.
El Malei Rachamim שוכן במרומים המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת חניה בת דוד ופייגה שהלכה לעולמה בגן עדן תהא מנוחתה נבל הרחמים הסתיריה בסתר כנפיך לעולמים וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה אדוני הוא נחלתה ותנוח בשלום על משכבה ונאמר אמן.
Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Sheri Fagan, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up with the bond of life. May she rest in peace. And let us all say, May be seated.
The interment will take place at Memorial Park Cemetery located in Skokie. For those of you joining in procession, we'll make sure that your vehicles are marked by a magnetic flag, which will be on top of your car, as well as an orange funeral safety sticker to be placed on the inside portion of your windshield. And please use your emergency flashers at all times while in procession. The Shiva will be observed at the Fagan residence today from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. with a minion at 7 p.m., and then again on Sunday from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. The address is 1149 Lockwood Drive in Buffalo Grove. All this information is listed in the service folder you received. If you did not receive one, they are available as you exit. I do want to point out, though, that the contact information for the Shiva coordinator is printed incorrectly. It should be 742 instead of 842. It is correct on our website, so if you want to go there and check it out, but it is 742 and not 842. The following people have been selected as pallbearers. As I call your name, please step forward. Kevin Brown, Brian Wolfson, Louis Stein, Matthew Warren, Jordan Silver, Jim Schmidt, and Craig Minnick. I'll ask everyone to please rise as the casket is escorted from the chapel.